We're at Rochester High School for OAA football media day, and now a chance to preview your West Bloomfield Lakers regular season. One of the most key players on the defensive side of the ball, and someone you're going to be seeing a lot on the offensive side in 2025 is Jeremiah Benson, senior and one of the captains for the West Bloomfield Lakers. Jeremiah, coming off of last season, a lot to motivate your team for 2025. What's really been your focus in this offseason as you've looked forward to your senior year?
Kind of just this year, we just taking it slow this year. We pacing ourselves. We're taking it game by game. We're not worried about the playoffs. We're not worried about how we fell short last year. We kind of just gonna take it game by game. Just focus on who we got to focus on week by week, and we just gonna grind and put in the effort. To get the win. So
that's a good point. Kamari talked about it a little bit with us earlier on. The expectations are something you always have to manage, especially when you're a perennial contender like West Bloomfield. So how do you manage that from the top down on your team, from those leaders to the younger guys coming up, to take that practice by practice, rep by rep, game by game?
Yeah, we always have a lot of expectations. We have high expectations. There's a lot of years that people kind of underrate us, and we have low expectations for the year. But kind of just our guys who just focusing on just getting better as a team. Just our chemistry, our young guys. Just making sure that they get the good reps that they need. Just to gain that experience so that they feel like they're ready for when we get into the regular season. Because we got a lot of young guys coming in this year. We lost a lot of pieces last year, so we kind of just focusing on making sure our young guys get comfortable with the game and the pace of it.
You're going to have a little bit of a change in 2025. Typically, in the last couple seasons, you've been in the trenches on the defensive line. You've been attacking the ball carrier, attacking the quarterback. Now you get a chance to flip that on the other side, too. Be a two-way guy, play a little bit of tight end. How excited are you to have that change for 2025?
Yes, I'm definitely excited, just to be able to show my athleticism, just the way that I move and, just be able to help my team out in any way I can. That's just kind of the main thing about it. I'm just excited to be able to play both sides of the ball, and just show what I can do. So.
How does your approach in the offseason change when you know that you're going to get some chances on the offensive side? Tight end, there's similarities to being on the edge on defense and being even a defensive tackle, but athleticism is really important too. Has that changed your offseason work at all?
Not really. I feel like my off-season work, I feel like I kind of just been focusing on the same thing. I've been focusing on my speed, just my agility, the way I move laterally, and, just my first step. So I feel like I kind of just stay with the same off-season work. I've been getting a lot of work in this off-season, probably one of my most efficient off-seasons yet. So, yeah.
On the defensive side, 50 tackles last season, just in the regular season, 8 of those being sacks for Jeremiah Benson, with us on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM from OAA Football Media Day. On X, I saw that you've changed your name to include a nickname. You're the Boogeyman. How have you embraced that? Where did that come from? And how has that kind of taken on its own bit of a persona as you approach the game in the season?
I feel like I kind of I named myself that because I just feel like just me being my size, just how quick that I move, I feel like that I get into the backfield quicker than the quarterbacks can see me. So I feel like they don't see me coming. So I feel like that's kind of what the boogeyman is, that it's somebody you don't see coming, somebody that you fear, that you can't plan for you. It's no game plan that you can make for me because no matter what, you're still not going to see me coming at the end of the day. So that's kind of what that came from. And, just my mentality I'm carrying into the next season.
There's always that one guy on the Laker defensive line that just gets to the quarterback, whether it's Mike Williams, tough act to follow, and ended up being Brandon Davis-Swain, an all-time great, the all-time career sacks leader in the MHSAA, and then last season, possibly even this season as well, Jeremiah Benson. Jeremiah, after you get through this season, next fall you're heading to Minnesota, Big Ten football on the way. Not uncommon for Lakers, but as you get ready for that sort of pressure, for that kind of competition at the collegiate level, how does that further put into context your work ethic in this regular season to get yourself ready for what it's going to take to be a great college player as well as a great high school player?
Yeah, I feel like this year I'm definitely pushing myself way harder. I feel like I'm working way harder, making sure I'm staying conditioned. I'm staying ready and strong. Because I feel like at the end of the day, I had a lot of mentors, a lot of my older guys. They told me it's nothing that you can do right now that's going to prepare you for college. So all I'm doing is the best I can. I'm working as hard as I can, so when I get there, I can manage and I can, build my way up to hopefully being a starter next year in the 2026 fall season. So, yeah.
At the beginning of our conversation, you talked about eliminating the noise, getting away from the expectations, the the pundit fodder about West Bloomfield, about high school football, about the season ahead, and just being able to help yourself stay focused. So what do you do outside of football to clear your head from the game for a little bit before you come back and put that hard work back in?
Kind of just me personally, I feel like I kind of stay away from the social media stuff, and just all the ranking pages, kind of all the articles that's speaking on our team and speaking down on our team just because of last season. I feel like that's definitely something that as a team, I feel like that we should do, just kind of just silence out the noise, the social media. That's really kind of where it's at, and most of the talk that's been about us. So, just taking that out and just focusing on us, just worry about us, don't worry about what the rankings say, the articles say. Everybody always gonna have their opinion on this. This happens every year, and we just got to show them why they wrong. We just got to prove them why they wrong. So that's all we worried about, and, yeah.
All happens 1 week at a time. That kicks off Thursday, August 28th, Lakers Stadium, 7 o'clock kickoff versus Dearborn Fordson just before Labor Day weekend. Jeremiah, thank you as always.
Thank you. I appreciate it.